Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are listening in from. Welcome to Onwards and Upwards, the show where you learn everything you need to know about living and working in the United States as a healthcare professional. I am your host for today. My name is Deirdre O'Regan. I am the Senior Director of International Recruitment here at AMN International, and we are so excited to have a tremendous panel of guests on today. We're going to go inside international recruiting. What does that look like? If you are thinking about applying, please do so today. We're going to hear from two of our expert recruiters. We're going to be joined by Jenny and Joy, and we're also going to be hearing from not one, not two, but three international nurses who have gone through AMN International to realize their American dream. So we are so excited for today's show. There are going to be lots of tips and tricks, and most importantly, you're going to learn about the experience firsthand from three of our international nurses who have gone through our program and are here in the United States living their American dream. So I love this part of the show where we learn where you are calling in from. So please pop that into the chat. I see Trisha from Zambia. Welcome, Trisha. I see Mayomikon from the United Kingdom. Welcome. I see Anzila from Nepal. So please continue to pop those into the chat as we go through our show today. We love to see where our listeners are listening in from, so that we can welcome you and highlight your country. We see Truden from Jamaica. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So throughout our show, we will be putting up our link to apply. So please apply if you have not done so already. I can see a lot here. We can see Egypt, we can see Nigeria. Welcome to you all. So throughout our show, we will be putting up this link to apply. So please do so if you have not already. Our link is amnhealthcare.com/international. You will see that throughout our show. And most importantly, pop in your questions here. Pop your questions into the chat. We will get to as many as we can today, so that you can leave the show more informed, motivated, excited to get your journey started here in the United States. So before we bring our guests out, we wanted to introduce you to one of our locations. So here at AMN, we have offices all over the country, but we wanted to highlight one of our bigger offices, which is in Dallas, Texas, in the United States. So before we bring our esteemed panel out to start the show, we do want to show you just a little sneak peek of where we do all of the great things. So if we can roll the video, and then we will bring our guests out.
Welcome to Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, home to a vibrant culture, thriving business scene, and home offices for AMN Healthcare. We've got offices all across the country, but today I want to focus on where the magic happens here in Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. My name is Zach. I'm a recruiter for our international team. Let's go inside and take a look at where the magic happens here. You're always greeted with a warm welcome by a member of our receptionist team. This is the first stop for most visitors and employees throughout the day. And now for my favorite part of the office, the coffee and the snacks. It's a great way to fuel up for the day or meet colleagues for a quick snack. Let's go upstairs and check out what the recruiters are doing. And this is where our teams connect with healthcare professionals all over the world. It's a place where we can really make an impact in a collaborative space. Let's head on over to our video and podcast studio. Lights, camera, action. This is our professional studio where we produce a ton of content, all the way from CEO messages, educational videos, podcasts, and more. It all happens right here.
Why don't I know about it?
Like, oh, you're going to TravCon, aren't you?
Across from the studio is our executive boardroom. From team-wide meetings to major company decisions, this is the room for it. Thank you for joining me on this tour of our Dallas headquarters. it really is more than just an office. It's a community dedicated to changing lives and empowering the future of care.
Love that video. And Zach may be a familiar face to some of you. Zach is one of our international recruiters, just as he introduced himself. So I think that it's lovely to get a sneak peek of where the magic happens and where we work with our international clinicians as well as clinicians here in the United States. So thank you, Zach, for doing that video for us, and hope that it was exciting for you to get a glimpse into where we do the amazing work that we do. So without further ado, what you are all here for today is to learn a little bit more about the international recruitment process from the experts, as well as our international clinicians who have gone through the process and are here thriving in the United States. So let's bring out our panel for some introductions. All right, we have everybody here. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Some of these faces may be familiar to you. I'm sure they are. So before we get started, let's start with some introductions. Will, I'm going to start with you if you don't mind.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. My name is Wilfredo Labrito, but you can call me Will. I am an RN from the Philippines, practicing here in the US for the last 3 years, and I've been a nurse for nearly 20 years.
Thank you so much. And we're going to learn a lot from Will about where he is, how it's going for him, and his future plans. So thank you so much for joining us, Will. Jenny, I am going to go over to you. Oh, Jenny, you're muted. There we go.
Hi, again. I'm one of your recruiters for the AMN International Staffing Division, and I've been here 5 years, and I love doing everything I do with you nurses.
Thank you, Jenny. And I'm sure that Jenny is a familiar face and voice to many of you as well. Okay, we are going to go to Grace. Grace, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself.
Good morning. My name is Grace. I am a registered nurse, originally from Kenya, and I'm working in Main Bangor.
Thank you. You're in a beautiful part of the country. I think it might be getting a little bit warmer now, so I'm sure you're looking forward to that. Thank you so much for being here, Grace. Monica, over to you.
Hello, everyone. How are you from wherever you are watching all over the world? My name is Monica, one of the RN, a beneficiary from AMN Healthcare, and I'm based here in Pennsylvania. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. You're also in a beautiful part of the country. I lived in Pennsylvania myself for a short period of time. Love how close it is to everything. You can get to New York very quickly and enjoy, but it's a beautiful, beautiful place to be. Last but not least, we have a very familiar face joining us today. Miss Joy, over to you.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Joy Bansag, and I'm working as a placement manager with AMN Healthcare. So I have more than 20 years of experience in international recruitment, particularly with nurses. So welcome to the show.
Thank you, Joy. So lots and lots of experience here today. So this is your perfect opportunity. If you have been thinking about taking the next step in realizing your American dream, this is the show that you want to be listening to. I do want to put a disclaimer out there. If we get a little visitor in a little bit, I will introduce my little fur baby if he comes out. I've tried to contain him, but he may make an appearance. And if that said, I hope you don't mind if I introduce him to you all, but hopefully he is a good boy and stays where he needs to be. Okay, so without further ado, we are going to get into learn about some experiences that our international nurses have had, and also learn from our recruiters on what they look for in candidates and how they support you throughout your entire process. So Will, I'm going to start with you. So when did you decide that you wanted to work in the United States, and how long did it take you to apply to take that first step?
Actually, the main reason why I took up nursing is to be here in the US, actually, about 20 years ago. But I decided to continue with my dream, achieving my dream last 2022 during the COVID pandemic. And
Mm.
I just took the NCLEX 2022, and gladly after 2 weeks, I was able to hired by a direct hospital here in North Dakota through Connetics. So that's the reason why I'm really grateful with Connetics giving me that opportunity. It took me about nearly 17 years before coming here.
Okay, so those things that are worth it sometimes take a little bit of time, and we hear that a lot, is that the process is so long. But we say all the time, if it's really worth doing, then
Yes.
invest that time, because it goes very, very quickly. And you've got a beautiful view outside your window, so it looks like you're in a beautiful, beautiful place. Love the Dakotas. It is
Thank you.
such a family-based place, right? It's like a great place to raise children.
Yes.
And I know that you were really enjoying yourself there, because otherwise you wouldn't have stayed, right? And so here you are. So Will had mentioned that he came to the United States through Kinetics USA, which is part of AMN Healthcare International. And we are the only organization that offers both direct hire and staffing opportunities. Our recruiters are expert in both. And so they are going to be talking about that as we go through our show. So Jenny, why did you want to be an international recruiter? I know you've got experience outside of the international recruiting space through AMN, but what was it about international recruiting that really drew you to this position? Oh, you're muted, Jenny.
Yes. I guess I forget to I'm always so used to muting. But that's a good question. Thank you. What drew me to it is just in general, nurses. It's kind of one of the things I mentioned during my interviews is you're the first person that we see when we go into the office. You're also, or hospital, and you're also the last one that we see. And you do so much work that it's touching to be able to be a person to actually assist you in that. And I'm in a melting pot personally. So I have many international nurses pretty much everywhere I go, and I absolutely love it. So that's really what drove me to it, is just knowing that I'm helping you all are helping me and the rest of my family and whomever else needs medical attention.
I love that, Jenny. You're the first person we see and the last person we see when we're in some cases, some of the most difficult situations that we can be in, right? So I think we say this all the time, not all heroes wear capes. And, we're celebrating you all this month of May for Nurses Month. And we're so excited that we get to do that. But of course, we celebrate you each and every day. So thank you, Jenny. Grace, I'm going to ask you a question. So, Will had said that it took 17 years to get in. He became a nurse because he always wanted to be a nurse in the United States. So when you thought about what your journey looked like, can you talk to us a little bit about any hesitation that you had with that? Because it's a big decision, right? Moving everything that you have known over to a new country. So can you talk to us a little bit about any nervousness or hesitation that you had?
I was very nervous, especially when I talked to my friends, because I am an older nurse. I was going to come into the US in my 40s, and everyone thought that it was a bad idea to abandon everything when you're in your 40s and start over. I was also worried about the exams, whether I would pass or not, the finances required for me to settle in, the paperwork and everything that comes with moving to the United States. But I was sure that I wanted to come and practice in the US. So no matter the many voices that discouraged me, I pursued my American dream, and I am glad that I am here.
And we are glad that you are here, and we are glad that you are here and chose AMN Healthcare International to help you on your journey. And we're going to learn a little bit more throughout the show as to what that support looked like. So thank you very much, Grace. And it's a brave decision, no matter what period of life you're in, right? So congratulations to you on taking the leap. And now look at where you are. So very excited for you. Joy, over
Hi.
to you. Hi. So when you think about your 20 years of experience recruiting international healthcare professionals, what, in your opinion or your recommendation, is the one question that international nurses should ask on their initial call with their recruiter?
The one question that I wish all the nurses will ask is about the support that we can give to them. Okay, or what
Mhm.
support system that we can offer to them. So for AMN, I've been working with AMN since the kinetics time. So what we have is we always be a part of your journey. So from matching your skill set with the requirements of the hospitals that we have, from the interview preparation to the licensing to immigration to onboarding, and for even like for the staffing, we will be part of your journey throughout the whole duration of your contract. So if what Grace said, there are hesitations and there are some doing what coming to the US, don't worry, you are in good hands. AMN is here to guide you at each step of the way.
Thank you very much, Joy. So that's a tip, very important. That as you are speaking with a recruiter, that you're asking what that support looks like. So there are two different types of support, right? So there's your technical support, your immigration process, you're filing your I-140, your license, all of that stuff. But then there's also this social support and what that looks like when you do eventually take the leap, and you're either coming, you may be coming on your own, you may be coming with your family, but it doesn't matter. That support is just as important. So Monica, can you tell us a little about why you chose AMN to be your partner on this journey?
For me, I decided to start my journey back in 2019, and that's when I started to do my research on the staffing agencies that were around. And
Mhm.
I was familiarized about O'Grady Payton through my friend. And when I did my reviews and everything, I settled with it. And however, when I started my journey in 2019, I didn't I didn't like start the journey immediately. It took me some time to decide and to know now it is the right time for me to start the journey. When I realized that the Ogre Payton, they needed the English proficiency test
Mhm.
before starting the journey, I didn't give up, but I had not done that English test. And so coming to 2020, there was this COVID pandemic, and I
Yeah.
was not able to do my English test. However, there was other staffing agencies that were able to recruit nurses without the English proficiency, but I settled with Ogre Payton because I knew that was the best decision. It was the best staffing agency from everything, the support and everything. So I waited 2020, the whole of 2020 and 2021. The end of 2021 is when I did my English test. And after I passed that, when I applied with Ogre Payton through AMN Healthcare, and I was able to be taken through my process. It wasn't easy, but through the AMN healthcare, everything was smooth, and I cannot regret everything. And I would recommend every other nurse out there who would like to come to the United States to take that step with Ogre Payton, because I think it's the best of the staffing agency that we have around.
Thank
Yes.
you, Monica. So you heard Monica talk about O'Grady Payton. So that is the staffing arm of AMN International, and you heard Will talk about Kinetics. So again, all under the AMN umbrella. Our recruiters are experts on both. When you apply to AMN Healthcare International, you are considered for both. So it really is, what do you want? What is most important to you? And our recruiters will guide you every step of the way. So I just want to bring up a quick graphic of how easy the process is, right? So you may think it's like, oh, it's so difficult. It's really not. We like to say it's easy as ABC, right? So what are you going to do? You're going to apply today. You're going to have a brief conversation with one of our expert recruiters who you are going to meet, learn more about as we go through our show. And then you commence your journey to the US. In between those steps, yes, there's going to be some time that is necessary just due to timelines in the immigration process. But as you have heard both Will, Grace, and Monica talk about, it's worth it. So we want to get you started today. It doesn't matter if you have 2 years of experience or 20 years of experience in your home country. We want to hear from you. So apply today. Jenny, I know you do a lot every single day, but if you were to describe your role in one sentence, what would that sentence be?
The sentence would probably be, I am the number one step and first and primary focus for nurses to begin their journey to come to the US.
Awesome. Thank you, Jenny. And your biggest advocate. So I know that we're going to learn a little bit about how that relationship with each of our international clinicians was like with their recruiter, because that's a key component of who you choose to partner with you on your journey to the US. We talked about your recruiter as the first person that you speak to. So that relationship is really, really important. And we're going to learn just how important that is with our 3 amazing international nurses who we have with us today. So thank you so very much. So Will, if we've got nurses right now who are listening in, and they're thinking, I'm not ready. This is not the right time to start my journey. What advice would you give them?
Okay, a few years ago, I was there in that situation, but I did realize that regret is much more scarier than failure. So I would suggest, if not now, then when? I will always grasp the perspective of what if or maybe. So that's the reason why that pushed me through to continue my dream. Actually, this is my dream to come to the US as a registered nurse, because the dream is not only for yourself but for your entire family. Believe me, it will change everything. It is easier said than done, but we did it. We all did it. So as you can do it.
Thank you. I'm going to replay that in my head all the time. If not now, when? And so the only thing that we can control is what we do next, right? So you can't control what happened yesterday. You can't control what's going to happen tomorrow. It's what we can do next. And Will mentioned, it's not just for you, but it's for your family, right? So if you're here with your family, this is not just something that is going to make your life better, but future as well. So thank you so much, Will. I know that we're probably going to play that periodically throughout. I know Jenny and Joy are thinking, that's so right. So Joy, what is one step that a nurse right now that is listening in, what is one step that they can take today to advance their process?
Okay, if you have passed NCLEX or if you have at least 1 year of current bedside experience, send your application now at www.amnhealthcare.com/international. And our recruiters will be happy to discuss with you the options that we have. So as what they said, that we have both direct and staffing, so we have a lot of opportunities for you. For those nurses that haven't started anything yet, no NCLEX, not yet, just thinking of going, so start planning on starting your NCLEX preparation, and then pass the NCLEX exam. And if those nurses who are not in bedside, because bedside experience is very important also to land a job in the US, start planning to go back to bedside. So I think those were the first that you need to start before you really commence on starting your journey for US application.
Thank you, Joy. So lots of great tips and tricks there that you can get started today. Grace, one of the things that's most important is the relationship with your recruiter. Can you tell us a little bit about the relationship with your recruiter throughout your journey?
Mm. There's so much to say about my recruiter. I felt very supported throughout the journey with O'Grady Penton. Whenever I had questions, I would ask questions and the questions would be answered. I never felt like I was alone in the journey. Each and every step they would explain everything to me beforehand. If I needed to make a payment, keep some money aside, they would remind me like 3 weeks before, and I would keep the money aside for what I needed to pay for. So I have felt very supported by the recruiter. They communicated on daily basis. I would check my emails and there was always a communication. So I was always aware of the step that I needed to take next. So I have felt very supported by my recruiter, and I never felt like I was alone in the journey. And any doubt that I had about coming to the US was taken away because of the support that I got from my recruiter.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Communication is key. And I am so glad that you received that support from your recruiter. So thank you so much, Grace. Jenny, talk to us a little bit about what you do if one of your nurses is a little overwhelmed with the process. How do you help them through that?
So I have a couple things that I do. Number one, especially when we're in the actual interview process, I more or less try to do some type of icebreaker because no one likes going in an interview. It's scary. So I'd rather talk to you like you're having a conversation with your family member at home. That's the first thing that I do. But then secondly, it's always through email, usually when I'm talking to you, and I always kind of let you know, what questions do you have for me? What can I do for you to make you feel more at ease?
Thank you, Jenny. I love that you reference that it can be intimidating. It's challenging. It's difficult. Nobody likes to interview, but it really is just getting to know you and what your career aspirations are and what's important to you in choosing your opportunity here in the U.S. Monica, talk to us a little bit about how your recruiter supported you in your journey.
My recruiters were very supportive throughout the journey, from joining until I exited the country, until I came here. They're very consistent when it comes to emails. Like when you email a recruiter, whenever you have questions, whenever you have difficulties, they always answer the emails on time. Because I remember there's a time I freaked out, like the time I did my visa interview and there were some delays and I didn't know what to do next. But I called my recruiter and I told them I don't feel at ease. And immediately they were able to like arrange a Zoom meeting together with some other recruiters, and they were able to calm me down. And those are the little things that made me feel comfortable and felt at home throughout my journey.
Thank you so very much. So it sounds like everybody got the support that they needed. And we're going to ask Will the same question here momentarily. But Joy, in your 20 years of experience recruiting international clinicians, can you tell us about a success story that you're particularly proud of?
I have a lot of success stories when we talk about leading a recruitment campaign. For wherein we place a lot of a huge number of international nurses to different facilities in the US. So, for example, we have hospitals that came to UAA for a face-to-face interview or 7 days interview, wherein we have recruited around 130 to 150 nurses. And just that's just 7 days, 1 week interviews. We have hospitals that came to the Philippines, recruited around 100 nurses also for just 4 days, and a lot of virtual interviews, like 60 to 100 with 2 to 3 days interview. So I'm very proud of the whole recruitment team with AMN, that we're able to manage to fill up all the position. And for us, it is not just about filling up positions. Okay, it is about like because we have a criteria from each of the nurses, so we have to give the best candidates in the market for all the requirements of this hospital. What made it more successful, or what made it successful, is the process that we have done throughout this one, that enhance the trust from the nurses, the trust from the employer, the retention rate of the nurses when they reach to the US, and the preparedness of the nurses from the beginning of the process until the completion of the process. And in fact, there are a lot of nurses that are staying with the same hospital even after the completion of their contract. So it is like I'm proud, not just for myself but for the whole team, that we're able to complete all the requirements. And for the nurses also, so maybe what are the process that are involved in this? When we talk about the nurses, so for the nurses side, so we have built the strong clinical screening. So we focus on the clinical or applicant screening. We focus on the clinical and the communication skills from the nurses. So for the nurses, each hospital, they have their own requirements. So if they're looking for ICU, they're looking for OR or ER med surg, nurses, they're recruiting for nurses who are currently in their current specialization. So it's very important for international nurses to stay in the areas, to stay in bedside. That's very important if you're looking to be hired for American hospitals. Another one is the support system we have for the nurses. From the interview stage up to the collection of documents, the requirements of the visa screen, and also the clear understanding of each process. So we make sure that that the nurses understood each step of the process. So that is what like and that is what we are that is what makes that that event successful.
Thank
It's a long
you.
explanation, but yes.
No, I love it. We could do a whole show on success stories that Jenny and Joy can share with us. So Joy, you mentioned that it's not just about filling positions, right? So it really is making that match, that successful match.
Yes.
And Will, Monica, and Grace are a testament of that. That the hard work that we're putting into finding you opportunities and really working with you on making that decision, because you don't have to accept the first opportunity, right? So you really want to do what's right for you and your family, and if you see yourself in that location long term, because that's the goal. Because it's hard to move, especially when you have children. It's very hard to move, and you don't want to be moving. And Will's like, yes, absolutely. And you don't want to move all the time. So finding your forever home is really, really important to us. So Will, can you talk to us a little bit about what your experience with your recruiter was like? What kind of support did you receive, and what stood out for AMN International?
Okay, at first, I am really shocked because when I applied during that time, it took me only 5 months from PD to visa. And my wife is really scared because we are not prepared. We are thinking that we're going to the United States for about 3 to 4 years, but definitely it's a swift of the time. It's my case manager during that time is really, really great. If I'm going to ask some question, I do have an answer before I wake up in the morning. And that's the reason why it took me about 3 months from PD to DQ. I was so shocked. The service with communication was so stellar. And I can speak because I'm really grateful for what I don't know if I'm just lucky or, but I do believe that the effort and hard work of my CM, same with the company, is really great. Not only treating as an employee, but treating as a family. There's no joke on that. That's real. That's what I felt during that time.
Thank you. I love that you mentioned family. And while AMN International is a large organization with lots of support systems in place, which is what Joy and Jenny talked about, it truly has that family feel. And that's something that's very, very important to us. From the initial phone call that you make, and you may be talking to Jenny or Joy or one of our other recruiters like Zach, who you just saw in our video, that experience that you feel like part of the family is very, very important. And not just you, but your extended family as well, who you may be bringing along with you. So Jenny, we talked about communication a lot. And it's very important that that is a two-way street, right? So that you are communicating effectively to the candidate. But what does great communication look like from the nurse to their recruiter?
So, one of the biggest things for me is essentially just being responsive. Kind of like if you sent me an email, you would want me to respond to you within 24-hour period. We do ask the same thing. Now, I do understand that there are times where life just gets in the way. We have family, we have friends, we have other obligations that get to us. But even a simple, I'm so sorry, I can't handle this right now, but I will get back to you as soon as I can to be able to answer those questions. That helps a lot. And then the other, just a really technical thing, is checking your spam folder, because I think sometimes people forget that when they apply, not all emails go through. So if you go and check that spam folder, you'll realize, oh my gosh, my recruiter has been trying to get a hold of me, or someone from AMN International has been trying to get me, and I haven't been paying attention. But that is probably the best thing that you could do, is just reply back very quickly and let us know, I'm still looking at whatever you asked me to do. I will love to get back to you as soon as I'm completed doing what I was doing.
Awesome. Thank you. I love that little tip. Check your spam folder. So, it is one of those processes that is definitely a two-way street. So if we're asking for something, it's just to move your process along faster. But again, life happens, you're working, you've got families, you've got other obligations, but just a quick little response is, I'll get back to you, or whatever that means. That helps us help you and get your process completed a lot faster. So Grace, it can be a daunting process, right? So there's a lot of things to do, a lot of paperwork that you need to complete, lots of things that you need to do. Monica talked about English. Joy talked about NCLEX, license endorsement, wherever it is that you are placed. But was anything in the process a little easier than you thought it would be? And if yes, what was that?
I think for me, the NCLEX was easier than I thought it would be. I thought it would be a very hard exam, but I found it to be too easy. I don't know whether, but I had read a lot. And also adapting to the new culture. I thought that when I came to the US, that it would really be hard for me to integrate with the different people that I'm going to work with. But it's been very easy adapting to the culture here. Being able to work with the different people, and also I found a lot of international nurses working at the hospital that I work with. So I have people who are Americans and people who are from different countries. So adapting has been really easy, and also learning the system. That is another fear that I had, because we didn't have things like the Pixies where I was working. So I thought it would be difficult, but I have had preceptors that are very willing to teach you, and even if you make mistakes, they teach you over and over again, and they're patient with you. So it's been an amazing process for me, and the things that I thought would be so hard have not been as hard.
I love that, Grace, and congratulations. NCLEX was easier than you thought. And so, but that's wonderful. A lot of people might think like it's just going to be too hard. And there are certain parts of the process that are more difficult or more challenging than others, but it is worth it. And Grace is a testament that those things that you think may be very hard are actually not as challenging and difficult as you may have once have thought. And by choosing an organization like AMN International to support you in those challenging situations, then that's what's going to make all of the difference. So I do just want to highlight, Jane has said, I'm so glad to see my recruiter, Jenny. Oh, Jenny getting a shout out. Her communication skills and response are admirable. So thank you so much, Jane. I'm very, very excited that you had an amazing opportunity and an experience with Jenny. And both Jenny and Joy pride themselves on their responsiveness, their communication, their expertise. And so you are in great hands with not just Jenny and Joy, but our entire recruitment team who are on hand right now, ready to hear from you. So if you have not applied yet and you are inspired by what you are hearing today, please do so at the link that we have just put up, amnhealthcare.com/international. So thank you so much. Joy, one of the things that we hear a lot, and we're getting some questions about it, is how do I make my application stand out? So, what are 2 to 3 things that you, as a recruiter for 20 plus years, look for in an application that makes you say, yes, I need to call this candidate immediately?
Oh, first is you have the certification ready, like NCLEX. That's very important. And if you have the English exam, that's an added points. But it's very important you have the NCLEX exam and the right experience. And you have to present your resume like where everything is there. You need to keep your resume up to date as well. So it shows the specialization you are currently working, because that's important. Specialization, the years of experience, and we also have, don't worry, before we also submit for a hospital interview, we have a format of resume that we will send to the nurses. Okay, so aside from the like your resume is the reflection of your experience and your qualification, so it should highlight there. And aside from that is your clinical experience. Okay, so as I have said again, a hospital recruiting for medical surgical is looking for a current medical surgical experience. Normally it's at least a year of experience, but there are some, especially the direct, there are some direct that are looking for minimum of 5 years, minimum of 3 years, depending on the location. And it is when you do like clinical interview well with the interviewer, when we present you to the interview, if you are confident to discuss about your experience in general, about the patient ratio, the cases, the equipment. So it's very important that you review your resume also. You review your resume, and then a hospital. So don't worry also, AMN will be helping you with the interview preparation. We will be sending you some interview tips on how to ease during the interview. So hospital interview is always be about clinical and behavioral. So we will be assisting you with that. So to answer that again, you have the qualification, you have the right experience, and you have like recent acute experience.
Thank you, Joy. You heard it here first. If you want your application to stand out, highlight your certifications, be prepared, and make sure that you're highlighting your experience front and center, and that you are currently and plan to stay working at the bedside. So that is what our clients are looking for right now. That's the type of experience that they are looking for. So follow those tips and tricks to make your application stand out. So, Monica, what does this opportunity here in the US mean for you and your future?
The opportunity of coming to the US from Kenya, it has been a great experience and a life changer for me and my family, because for my daughter, she's able to be exposed to a good education system, uh, a lot of support around in everything. And I feel so happy because this changed everything, because from the financial constraints, from the experience as a nurse on the bedside and everything, I feel great, and I feel there's a lot of impact and a lot of differences from where I came from and here.
Thank you so much, Monica. And I'm loving to see all those pictures of the adventures that everybody is going on. Love to see you getting out, exploring the United States. So it's such a beautiful place to be. And even if you're living and working in one place, the opportunities to go and visit everywhere else is such an amazing opportunities. And I'm glad that you guys are taking advantage of that and sharing your pictures with us. We love to see it. Jenny, so some days can be challenging, right? And what keeps you motivated each and every day when you come to work?
My biggest motivation is you. I am an immigrant myself, so I am definitely thankful for the opportunity of being in the United States, as you all on our panel are, and others who are wanting to be. But every day I wake up and knowing that I'm making a difference in other people's lives, that really pushes me to want to continue doing everything that I do on a daily basis.
Thank you, Jenny. And I love that Jenny's biggest motivation is you. And if you were to ask Jenny what her favorite part of her job is, it's speaking to each and every one of you. And so she takes time to go through the process because it can be complex. And just to Jane's testimonial there, Jenny's communication and response is impeccable, and that's really important as you're considering an organization to work with. So Will, talk to us a little bit about what you're looking forward to in your future.
Oh, after after taking some of my certification here, I am planning. Actually, I'm a former nurse educator before in the Philippines, and after my contract was done 3 weeks ago, so I'm still looking forward to go back to academe probably, and probably have the opportunity to be an NP, I guess, somehow in the future, if God's permit that for me. That will be. Yep.
Wonderful. And so you're looking, so your next step is to advance your career, hopefully be an NP. And we actually have another one of our international nurses who we have spoken to on these shows before. And that was a career aspiration of his as well. And he emailed me yesterday and said that he's finally done it. So we are so excited for him. And, that's the type of relationship that you receive here at AMN International. We've worked with international nurses for over 40 years. But once you're a part of the family, you always remain a part of the family. And just when you finish your commitment period, you continue to be a part of our family. And Will is a great example of that because his commitment period is done. And here he is, just helping us out, being part of our show and sharing his experience with us. So I cannot believe that we have only like 10 minutes left of the show, and I do have some updates that I want to make on some changes that have happened this week in regards to English. So I want to take 5 minutes of that before we wrap up the show. But before we let everybody go, I do want to go around and ask each of our panel, what if somebody is hesitating or not quite sure that they're ready to take the next step, or nervous about it? Let's start with Jenny. Jenny, what final advice would you give to any international clinician that is listening in today and wants to take the next step, but maybe a little hesitant or nervous?
I say the biggest thing would be that communication. Let your recruiter know what the bigger concern is so they can kind of walk you through what that concern looks like when you're in your journey. And then more or less just taking that kind of plunge forward, seeking advice. We do this as a living, so we do know that, it is a process, and we're able to answer any questions. As I said, always ask questions. We're here to help.
Thank you, Jenny. And I think that that's really important, is that, you have to ask questions. This is a big decision. This is particularly if you're bringing a family with you, and don't ever think that you're asking too many questions, because the more questions you ask, the more we'll be able to help align your career aspirations, your goals, what's important to you. So continue to ask those questions. That's why we are here, is to help you navigate through all of the complexities, but most importantly, get to know you and what is most important to you and your family. In some cases, it might be like Will's example: I want to go back to academia, I want to be a nurse practitioner eventually. It might be like Monica talked about, is I want better opportunities for my children. So it really just matters what is important to you. But the more questions you ask, the more we are equipped to help guide you in that process. Grace, any final advice for our listeners today?
Um, Omni Health is a great partner for you as a registered nurse, and you don't have to have everything figured out. And sometimes readiness sometimes comes through the process itself. So you need to start today and you need to start now. The American dream is valid and it is worth it.
Thank you so much, Grace. And I think that Will said it, and he said, if not now, when? So Monica, let's go to you. What final advice do you have for our clinicians who are listening in today?
My final advice from someone who wants to start the journey, from someone who is at the journey, and from someone who is almost done and almost coming to the United States of America, I will tell you that the journey is not easy. For those who have not started, there is no good time to start the process, because the process doesn't happen in a year or two. It might take time, and by the time you realize it, you'll be so ready, and you just be waiting. You just won't like you be so excited to move to the United States before you know it. And for those who are in the journey, I know the journey is not easy, especially now, and it takes time. But hanging there, it has not been easy for any one of us, and we all waited. There is we said that the journey took around 17 years. For my journey, it took 4 years. So it's not easy, but it's all worth the wait. And by the time you arrive to the United States, all the frustrations, all the waiting and everything is gonna disappear. Because for me, if you ask me, I've been here for 8 months, but if you ask me for the challenges that I faced, I will talk about them, but I won't remember how it was like. So it's all
Mhm.
worth it hanging there, and you'll be done before you know it, and it's all worth it. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Thank you, Monica. I love that. You said you can talk about the challenges, but in the moment it may feel very difficult and challenging. Then you get through that and you look back and say, "Oh, you know what? It wasn't really that bad. Now I'm through it, but it was all worth it." So thank you so much. And again, I love seeing all the pictures of your adventures with yourself and your children and all of the fun things that you are doing outside of work. Joy, same question for you. What final advice would you give to our listeners?
Okay, final advice, especially to those nurses who are already on the process. We have retrogression process. During this time, it need patience. So do not shift to non-clinical. It's very important that you continuously working in bedside during this waiting time and use this time to gain more experience, to gain more skills, get a certification, ACLS, BLS, and aside from that, also be on top of all the expiration dates that you have in your English, if it is required to be renewed, your visa screen, the passport copies you have, also be in touch with your recruiter or with your case specialist. We are rest assured that we are monitoring closely the priority dates. There might no updates when it comes to it comes to the movement of the visa, but we are monitoring closely on the movement of the priority date. So continues stay on the bedside. It's very important, and trust the process. AMN will be here to assess you until the end of your journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Joy. Trust the process. That is what I'm taking away from Joy's final advice. And also, there are things that are outside of your control. So what you can control is the decision that you make today to apply to AMN Healthcare International. Let us help you in all of the complexities and the challenges that will come your way. We are the experts in what we do. We have been doing this for over 40 years and have assisted thousands of international nurses like Monica, Will, and Grace achieve their American dream. Will, same question to you. Final advice for our international nurses who are listening in today.
Okay. Talking as a person, as a parent, and as a professional, if you do have a dream deep within your heart, please make it into a reality. We always think that if we believe, we survive, and you better start now. See you here very, very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. I love your picture, and you got to see the Mall of America. It's probably one of my favorite places in the world. It's huge, right? Like, it's a little overwhelming. But thank you all for joining today, for sharing your experiences, for sharing your expertise. I know that it has inspired me and got me very excited and thankful for the job that we get to do each and every day, working with amazing international nurses like Monica, Will, and Grace. And again, we have helped thousands of international nurses achieve their American dream. We want you to be next. So if we can pull up that graphic again of just how easy it is, and you can take the next step today, it really is as easy as ABC. But the biggest thing is that choosing an organization that's going to make it easier for you. So thank you all very much. We look forward to having you on another show very, very soon. Happy end of Nurses Month to Monica, Will, and Grace. And I hope that you all have a wonderful weekend. Do something fun. Share the pictures with us. Thank you to Jenny. Thank you to Joy for sharing your expertise with us. What a great show. What a great informational show. So I hope that each and every one of you who are listening in are inspired and looking to learn more. Jenny and Joy and the rest of the recruitment team are on hand to help you and answer any and all questions that you have. So thank you all. Appreciate your time, and we look forward to having you on another show very, very soon. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Wow, we could have gone for 2 hours with all of the questions and all of the great information that was shared with us today. So thank you again to our panel, and we must do another show like this soon, because there is a lot of great tips and tricks that the team can share with you as well. So we wanted to take the last few minutes of our show today just to update you on some changes that have been updated this week to certain English competency exams. So you'll see that we have a graphic up here for you, and there has been some changes to some acceptable scores in certain English exams. So IELTS, there is no change in what the acceptable scores are, and then you can see there that there's been some changes with PTE. So the scores have increased for PTE on what is acceptable. And that is one of the reasons why when you come to AMN International, or you may already be working with AMN International, and we talk about English exams and the ones that we recommend, we highly, highly, highly recommend that you take IELTS or TOEFL, because in the past couple of years, they have remained unchanged. PTE, the scores have changed a number of times. So if you have questions about what the new acceptable scores are, please reach out to your recruiter, please reach out to your case manager. You would have been communicated with if you were already working with us, but we just wanted to take a couple of moments just to download you all on what the new expectation is. And just a quick note, these new scores are applicable as of May 12th of this year. So May 12th, 2026, if you did take the exam previous to that, then the old scores will qualify. But if you took the exam after May 12th, the new scores are the new requirement. So if you have not taken your English exam yet, highly encourage you to take IELTS, as that will for the most part remain unchanged, and what your score is will remain your score. But though that is the one that we highly recommend that you take. So any questions that you have regarding your own particular circumstance, then please reach out to your recruiter and they'll give you the most up-to-date information. But we did want to just let you guys know, in case you were not aware, that those changes came down this week. And we wanted to share that with you. If you have not taken your English exam as of yet and you are in the immigration process, please look at it as just as urgent and important as your NCLEX was, because it is very important, and you're just going to delay your process even more if that is not completed. The great news is that if you are working with AMN International or interested in working with AMN International, we do provide you with an English preparation course free of charge. So we partner with Niner, which is based in the Philippines, and we have partnered with them for many years and helped many international nurses get through the process of taking English and passing it on their first attempt. So if you are nervous about it, then please reach out to your support team here at AMN International, and we will be happy to help you through the process, help get you enrolled, help guide you with the study plan, and most importantly, have you pass that all-important exam on your first try. Okay, so let's talk about some upcoming shows that we have over the next few weeks. I cannot believe this hour has gone so quickly. Okay, so on June 19th, we are going to have our monthly immigration Q&A. We should have our visa bulletin at that time. And so we will be meeting with our expert attorneys, just like we do every single month, and they will be talking to us about what that looks like. On June 26th, we are going to be talking about nurses' journey to the USA. So that will be about a week before July 4th holiday. So we'll be talking to a number of our international nurses who are here in the United States, and they'll be talking to us about their journey, about their process, and about how they're thriving here in the US. That's a really fun show because we normally have some quizzes, some prizes. So please tune in there on June 26th. And we'll be talking to some of our international nurses who are currently living here and thriving in the United States, just like our panel of guests were today. So with that, our show has come to an end. I hope that it was inspirational, motivational for you, just as it was for me. I'm so honored to get to do what I do each and every day and work with amazing international nurses like our panel, and also like everybody who is listening in to us today. So until next time, onwards and upwards, and have a great weekend.
Bye.